Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on October 7th, 2023 at approximately 2:48. I think that's 2:48. Jumping Judy. Nope, 3:46 p.m. PST. As you can tell, not exactly organized, but this was rather a sudden decision. Let's try that. That'll work better. Anyway, I returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally put to use in my own life, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the philosophies I personally live by. Now, with this in mind, I've handed these same tools off to literally thousands of people over the years with varying degrees of success based on their own personal efforts. Now, yes, I'm on really early today, primarily. Oh, Philip, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, this was rather an impromptu, but the answer to your question, the list I had for my other half, I actually had 50 items on it. I went so far as to say what kind of movies that she would like. Okay, I was done playing the idea. I tried the route of going on the dating sites. That didn't work worth a hoot. By the way, Philip, as impromptu as this is, you're in with the gold, and Shadow and Sun are in with the silver. And of course, with Shadow, this is your live stream. This is the live stream, guys, for Shadow and Sun. If I can find the thing. Here we are. So absolutely drop by, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, absolutely give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of the thing. Now, yeah, the reality of it is that when it came to looking for a partner, I'd already had two that had walked out without warning. Okay. So no, my dating life was not, shall we say, functionally viable. I tried the dating scene on the different websites. You know, not a problem there at all, Shadow. Glad to do it. I just figured I didn't have a whole lot planned for today. Both my boys are out. One is over at his mom's. The other one's working. So I figured, what the heck? So while I was puttering around, I would just come in here and see what came up. Oh, um, okay. As far as Philip, as far as the traits advised for the list, that is entirely up to you. I am not the one to say what your list should contain. What it shouldn't contain, though, is do not put anybody's actual name down at all. Okay. Number one, like for instance, you know, I desire to date, and then insert movie star, or insert whoever you know. The reason you don't put a name down is because it literally interferes with karmic law. Okay, that's number one. The other thing you don't put down is do not put a birth date. If you desire, you can certainly put an age, but do not put the date down because that limits your scope way too tightly. You know, in my case, I was much more, when I was putting my list together, sometimes you'll find it easier to list off what you don't desire. For instance, I did not desire somebody that would be flirting with everybody else, with anybody moving. I absolutely was not going to tolerate a drug or alcohol addict. Not going to happen. So I put these things down. Okay. I didn't bother, I really didn't bother with worrying about I did have a minimum age down, because I knew I was going to have to find somebody smaller than me. Christine, how we doing? Glad you could join us. So I did put a minimum age down because there was no way I was going to be dating somebody that was young enough to be my daughter, my son's, to be somebody my son would date. Right. Yeah, it is. And the whole issue here is I didn't have a lot on the go. My boys are both out of the house right now. And since I didn't have a lot set up, I figured I might just as well kill the afternoon, get some things planned. And since I won't be on tomorrow, I figured it was the best way of doing it. Just leave it as an open topic and see what kind of turnout we had. Which is kind of neat because right now I wasn't planning on being here at all. You know, I mean I was, but not for another hour. And then I figured, I'm not likely going to be running the whole length talking, but we'll see what happens. So I need right now, and this is why I said while I'm planning, because by getting out paperwork while I'm planning, I can get stuff out of the way. Where, pray tell? Right over here. But yeah, we have an awful lot to be thankful for in this world. And the one thing that really I look at is this. When you're looking to change your life, when you're looking to draw a partner to you, figure out what you're not content with. This is far easier than figuring out what you might be content with. What I'm doing here, I got a bunch of notes for the writing I've been doing, but it's on bits and pieces. Where are we? 277, book 11, and Rio 8, book 12. I've got a bit of a discrepancy I have to work on. That's what that was. So, when you're looking at, Philip, literally anything. Okay. Um, in my case, I put down not that they were into the metaphysical, but at least that they weren't afraid of it. But you can absolutely, if you're really hung up on, say, Monopoly, you can put down that they enjoy Monopoly, or maybe you're really into watching wrestling. So you desire somebody that will sit down with you and actually enjoy watching wrestling. These are just some of the things that you look at. And there is literally no limit to what there's no restriction on what you write down as far as the qualities go. Just what you don't write down, and there's only two things: nobody's name, nobody's birthday. Okay, because it does create a problem. It will absolutely run in and create havoc for you. What I'm doing here, because like I said, I've got a list of different notes and what have you, that I really have to make sure that I get sorted around. Farron, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. The neat part about this was just literally a case of, okay, I'm working in the office anyway. I'm not going to be here tomorrow for a lot of reasons. You're going to have that many turkeys. I hope you're going to have a lot more people around, or really, really small turkeys. Where are we? Why? Oh, that wasn't that one. Okay. That needs a different sheet, but that's okay. Yep, lots of soup. I'm lucky. My ex is actually handling the cooking. I dropped the turkey and the stuff off for her today. Right. So I paid for the actual meal. She does all the cooking, and that works out well from my end. And rest assured, it works out better for my boys' end as well. But no, the reality is, I'm thankful for an awful lot of things, not the least of which is the incredible support that I've been receiving from the people in this chat room. There are things that set me off that, and I don't mean here I haven't run into that problem, but there are things that that absolutely create a problem. I really do not do well with somebody telling me I'm not sincere. You know, Everything I've done in my life, I've done to the best of my ability, including postponing things, which, by the way, ain't necessarily a good thing. That's okay, Ferret. Traditional boils down to this. Are you spending time doing what you desire to do with your family and or friends? You know, it's funny. I find that, we've got this neat concept, at least in Canada, that you have to have turkey. Well, you don't really have to. Okay, but it is a common denominator, and personally, I like it. Okay, we have to take a look at that. You know, the neat part here, Nathan, how you doing? Wasn't exactly planning on being on this early, but it kind of worked out that way. So, what do we got here? Nathan. Oh, yes. And people, like this is Nathan's live stream. Absolutely drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up and then subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Now, as you can see, Nathan is on tonight at 9 p.m. Central, which is 7 p.m. Pacific. Oh, there we go. Nathan's just letting us know tonight's show is Local Ghosts. Now, of course, if you mispronounce that, you end up with Loco Ghosts. Yeah, I ended up on a whole lot earlier than I was planning, Nathan. And so I'm just working with what I got. So if I don't seem to be all that organized, well, it's because I wasn't intending on it. So I'm just looking at this going, okay, how can I get this all moving in the right direction? What's that? Oh, I know what that is. But what we have to remember, well, I guess we don't have to. Okay, I look at Thanksgiving as this. Doesn't matter what, but find something that you're thankful for. For me, I'm quite content that I haven't had a heart attack today. That was a bonus. Um, you'd think that almost all ghosts are a little confused. I do remember dealing with one, and he was not a little bit crazy. He was right off his banana. And boy, was he in a foul mood. But it was funny because I was talking to him. He was actually threatening a corporeal. And I sat there and talked to him for a minute. And he looks at me and he goes, "I've seen you in hell." I looked at him, I said, "Wait a minute. You're telling me you already know hell won't hold me, and yet you're still trying to tick me off." I said, "Is this the kind of stupidity that got you killed in the first place?" You know, and so we talked for a bit more. I said, "Look," I said, "number one, you turn around, you leave this young lass alone, I'll point you directly to the guy that is responsible for you being in this situation." Okay. So the guy gave me his word he would leave the corporeal alone I was dealing with. So I told him where the guy that had caused his problem was. Guy that caused his problem yanked him back from the other side. Nightmare, I have what? Oh, there we are. Welcome aboard, Nightmare. Glad to see you. So I gave the guy I told this ghost where the chap was that was the problem. The chap happened to be incarcerated he was doing hard time. Okay. And well, needless to say, I sent the ghost to him to, enjoy himself. Not necessarily the nicest thing in the world, but it was certainly effective. And what is this? Don't need that. Oh, notes for what I'm working on with Return to Paradise. If you've got the Birth of the Wolf Pack, then you now what was the other one's name? I do have to pull open Birth of the Wolf Pack. Where is it? Okay, how about if we minimize that? And then we can pull up Birth of the Wolf Pack, put it where I need it, and open that back up so I can see what I'm dealing with. There we are. The nice part about it, is when you look at the way your world is. Okay, I'm looking at mine. I've got all these notes that are all over the place and not exactly in the order they should be. Now, let's see if we go. Wait a minute. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. That's always useful. I don't need 9. I don't require. That's 9. I require 10. Oh, I see what I did. So there is book 10, Birth of the Wolf Pack. Now bring this back up so I can see who I'm talking to. And there we are. Now we come up here and we go find. I believe if I remember correctly. Whoa, that didn't work. Sometimes I have too many things on my desk. I really have to change the setup on my desk just so I've got room to work. Hmm. Let's see if we can find it this way. Um, just trying to see what I did. Where are we? Cannot for the life of me remember what the name was I was working with. Let's see if this helps. This, and yeah, I'm looking, and well, basically, I'm kicking around here. Desktop. Okay. Now, where are we? Don't want to get too terribly lost in what I'm up to. Move you over there. Minimize you. And what do I get? There we are. Oh, football. I mean, basically, it boiled down to this. I was going to be trapped in the office anyway, getting things organized. And I figured, what the hell? While that was not nice. While I was puttering around here getting things organized, I just go live and see if anybody was popping around because I won't be here tomorrow. Ultimately that would be the reason. So this is why I'm here at this point. I'm still planning on being around the whole length. And am I open to questions coming in? Absolutely. Unless I end up dropping dead football, the answer is yes. If I drop dead, it might be another problem. But since I'm not planning on dropping dead, I'm figuring what the heck. Where are we? Fine. Okay, but that's why I ended up on. Where are we here? Oh, I'm glad you did there, Ferret. Um, sadly, football. The answer to that, most people, most Canadians seem, if they celebrate Thanksgiving, seem to have a Thanksgiving dinner, but quite often they have an early one. So and now mind you, the neat part there is I know when I was growing up, we would have our Thanksgiving dinner around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I know my ex is actually making the dinner, getting everything moving by likely about 7 o'clock in the morning. But if you think about it, 4 hours to cook a turkey, you're still looking at noon. What have we got here? Wish I could remember. We are not looking to replace. Yeah, and that's just it. It depends on people's schedule. One of the things I do make a point of is making absolutely certain that I know what I'm personally happy about, thankful for. And the reality of it is I find more things I'm unhappy about than I do that I'm content with. Chad, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Where did we go? Um Bingo. Okay, and this is the link to Chad's archives. Where are we here? Chad. Of course, we're gonna have trouble finding why not? There we are. I look at it this way. I had some time that was basically free. I don't have the kids here. If my phone rings, I won't hear it because it's up front and dying. So I best be going getting that. Let us see here. We don't want to do that. We want to copy. This is the link to Chad's archive. So absolutely drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, absolutely give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now, before I get completely lost here, hang on half a sec, guys. I will be right back. Good thing I went back because my phone is actually dying. Or pretty quick. As in, ran out of power. But no, the way I figured it, I was sort of sitting here. Where are we here? And I think I missed you coming in, Cowie, and maybe not. Cowie, welcome aboard. Now I gotta go back up here because I know I missed this. We had Philip in with the gold, Shadow and Sun with the silver, Philip shows up. Nope, Philip got the gold. Then we have, where are we here? Christine came in with the bronze, and we scroll down a bit, and who do we got next? Ferret is in with honorable mention. In my case, I'm just a little bit all over the place because, like I said, it was a question of planning. And one of the things I looked at, see here, walk over here out of the way, and of course, I don't have a handy pen, which that makes normal. I mean, that makes sense. There we are. So today we are literally, oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't have anything planned here at all for today. But that's because it's Thanksgiving weekend. But like I said, guys, if you do have a question, absolutely put it in all caps, partial caps, at least a wavy hand so I can spot the thing. That can sit there. What is that? That is, oh, that's why. Oh, while I was working on the Return to Paradise, I was looking for a specific poem that I'd written. It just hit that I liked the way it was. Found out where it is. Now I just have to get things organized to make sure I get it all put where it belongs. This is all okay. So Nathan, I am presuming you are actually at work. It seems to me you just about work all the time, so what the heck? And we go here, and what do we got? Bingo. This is why I brought this over. That can sit there. Okay, got that, all of that. Those are. I love trying to read my own handwriting on occasion. Oh, okay. Now, one of the biggest things that I look at is this. If you're not content, now I could have puttered around with nobody here, which is true. But that being said, I am happy for content with the company. So what I'm doing here is literally I'm just making notes because when I close the stream down, and I'll have a few hours tonight. When did I actually get up? This morning I got to bed. Well, last night I got to bed at got to bed at about 10:30. Was back up at 1. No, wait a minute. Did not get to bed at 10:30. I got back up at 10:30 because I took a nap earlier. And then I was up until 1, slept until 2. Yeah, got back up and then slept from 4:30 to 6, and here I am. Don't require that. That, by the way, was my alarm to let me know that I'm supposed to be getting ready to get here. So I should be here in about a half an hour. Odds are I'm already here, but you get to figure that one out. The nice part about it, I mean, we have Thanksgiving here. I know you guys have it down in the States as well. And I'm curious, quite frankly, whether anybody has Thanksgiving in the rest of Europe or Asia, or for that matter, down in Australia. Now, what do we got here? I know I got to deal with that. Dealt with that. Oh, yes. Still looking for what they were called, who they were. See, there's something going on way back at the beginning of book 10. Actually, I think it was about 2/3 of the way through. But where is what I'm looking for here? Minimize those and let's get down to there. Now, if we go north, that should help. Oh, wait a minute. I know what it was that we give it away. It's the trap line. Okay, apparently not. Trying to figure out the way to find a given scene, and I really don't recall what what chapter it was. My in-book 10, I am. Okay, what do we got? Hunting up in the northern Cortes. Hmm. And of course, I'm having all kinds of fun trying to find the actual thing I'm looking for. Can't for the life of me remember why. Why I don't know what it was I called it. Let's try. Okay. Okay, how about if we do this? I have no idea how I'm going to find this. Just annoys the heck out of me. But, so we take that, put that aside for a second. And what do we got? Tomorrow we're not here, but don't need any of that. You know what those are for. Yes, it's a little different. One of the biggest things that I do look at, this did not work out quite the way I was intending. Why, pray tell, can I not find what I'm looking for? Let us see. Yeah, I am not that interested in taking that long to find it. Gotta be something easier. But let's scroll down here. Just look at what was written. Well, all the way down to the bottom. Boy, did I ever let that ride, didn't I? Hey, now there's an interesting idea. I'm just catching up here, and I'm just noticing Nathan's asking Chad to come on the panel. Oh, that's excellent football. I am still having fun trying to find out exactly why. What, pray tell, would I have called it? Oh, that's just annoying. Yeah, I'm a little hung up on this whole idea of not being able to find exactly what I require. That should do it. Maybe. That's the trap lines, but it's the wrong issue. Not fun. Told you it was going to be a little bit odd. Now, how, pray tell, do I find something that I cannot remember what the hookup was? Oh, there we go. Yeah, the funny part about it is sometimes it gets about trying to get time to get on a panel is sometimes life gets really badly in the way. Tonight I don't have a lot going on. With both boys out of sequence for a little bit, it opens up a lot of doors. Oh, hey Joe, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And Joe's just going, does the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future really exist? Absolutely, Joe. That's not a problem. Number one, okay, it's not a ghost that fills that position. Okay, if you're asking, is it one ghost that covers all of it? There is one that can actually access all of it, but virtually everybody has some sort of connection to it. Okay, if you will, think of what they showed on that movie. Okay, on Scrooge. Think of that as the general handling all of the different ones. He will take a special interest if necessary, but it's not usually a requirement. You know, but when we start looking at the term "the ghost of Christmas past," we are in essence actually you know, referring to the idea of your memories coming right to the surface. Now, I have no idea what this orange shirt and what do we got here. Um, two things. Oh wait a minute. Yes, it was. I'm just curious, in all fairness, because I'm partially colorblind. And I definitely didn't know anything about Orange Shirt Day. But I'm guessing this is the shirt that you're referring to is orange. See, to me, it looks almost yellow, but I'm guessing that's the one we're referring to. But not a problem. In all fairness, the fact that I participated in it, as it were, was quite by accident. It just kind of worked out that way. I will be looking into getting shirts and what have you of my own, and I don't mean ones for me to wear. Okay, yeah. Yellow becomes a little bit screwy. I'm surprised the thing looks it looks at all like that. Let us go back into here. Let's go down to S. That's the easiest way to do it. Hmm. Cannot find what I'm looking for love and money. Just kind of annoying in a lot of ways. That's Timra, which is fine. Talk about annoying. I know I've got something in here and I cannot find the dang thing for love and money. You know, but no, I take a look at it this way. I'm very much, as you guys have figured out, I really don't leave the house a whole lot. But what do we got here? On Monday, I was looking at a list just a moment ago. If I seem a little scattered, I probably am. That can go back up where it belongs. Oh, Philip, in all fairness, Orange Shirt Day may be a big deal in Canada. I personally just don't have a big deal with it. Okay, and it just boils down to, you know, because I'm not overly socially active, this is about the most social activity I have. You know, so it's not a question of whether it's actually a big deal. I don't even know what it's supposed to mean. Francito, how we doing? Now you're gonna have to forgive me because my Spanish is not great. Um, hola amiga, que tal por Canada? Now, what I don't know, I do understand the hola amiga, amigo. What I don't know is what the que tal is. Oh, absolutely football. I used to talk to the animals all the time on the property I was growing up on. Okay, we had approximately 40 chickens. We had maybe 50. Okay, we had somewhere around 3 dozen of the normal sized chickens, plus a dozen banties. Ah, well, I appreciate that there, football. I took 1 year in Spanish, and my basic worked out fine, but I haven't had anybody to use it with at all. It's kind of like I took a course in American Sign Language and didn't know anybody to practice with. And now, of course, my other half, there is absolutely, you know, there is absolutely a whole lot that I miss as far as that goes. I look at this whole issue of Thanksgiving and go, okay, we can dwell on the past, we can dwell on what went south. Here's the thing. From my standpoint, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. Darth Maylock is going to Pilgrims and Indians factor into Canada's Thanksgiving, like it began here in the States. The neat part there. I will get to that in half a second there, Transito. The neat part, as far as that goes, when we look at Thanksgiving, it probably did start that way, especially since we still have a big deal around most people still have turkey. If they don't cook it themselves, most of them will go out to a restaurant to get it. A lot of restaurants actually have a special Thanksgiving turkey dinner. Okay. Now, for me, I look at it this way. From my standpoint, and this is where I get into trouble, and I know I'm going to get flack for this, but do understand this is my opinion. Okay. And I know the whole thing about the natives, about the North American Indians, and they were named wrong, etc. The reality of it is there's a lot that is wrong there. Okay. Not the least of which is, for instance, if we take a look at the Japanese, okay, way back before they got involved with the rest of the world, from my understanding, they called their country Nippon. Net result, they were Nipponese or Nipponese. We call them Japanese. Why? Don't know. They're the same people. Okay. When you look at North American Indians, okay, they named them, Columbus called them North American Indians because he thought he landed in India. Okay, but here's the thing, and I'm a little too literal for my own good. I look at it and go, okay, if everybody around me is getting along, I don't care what your color is or what your birthright is or what your heritage is. There is not a single person on Earth, I would lay odds, that is a pure blood anything. Okay. Therefore, to me, native is simple. You're born in the country, you're native. Okay, it's that simple. You're born on a continent, you're native to that continent. Now, I did meet one North American Indian, okay, that had every reason in the world to be upset in the modern day. Now, do not get me wrong. What was done to First Nations was appalling. What was done to the Christians back in the Middle Ages was also appalling. Now, we can drag that with us and carry on complaining about it and going, I deserve compensation. Here's truth and reconciliation for you. Look in the mirror. Ask yourself this. Are you treating people the way you desire to be treated? Okay. Oh, there we go. Phil's just bringing us up to speed. He goes, didn't begin that way. The Pilgrims landing in Massachusetts version only goes back to the U.S. Civil War. Before that, it was Jamestown, Virginia, which held by the Slaver Confederacy. From my standpoint, it boils down to this. I don't look to what's gone on in the past. Oh, I figured that. But then the reality is we are talking almost 500 years, no, a little over 500 years ago. Okay. And let's face it, there were a lot of navigational mistakes that were made. And for me, it really boils down to, okay, the past, there have been some horrendous atrocities in the past. I'm personally just thankful that we're not going through the same set of atrocities. We got a whole new batch. But this is why one of the big things I'm really thankful for in this room is I don't get a lot of the global drama. Okay, I don't have a lot of use for it because, frankly, it is, in my opinion, pretty much counterproductive. Now, why, pray tell? Let's go back up. Close that because I'm not finding what I want the way I desire to. I'll recognize it when I see it. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, that's who Stevie is. And of course, I'm not going to follow it and find it at all, it would seem. What do we got? I have no idea where this guy is. Yeah, I heard that too. You know, the thing that surprises me there, Philip, is they pulled, and I don't know if they brought the Looney Tunes back, but they pulled the Looney Tunes off the air because it was too violent. And you look what they're putting on the air instead. Good call. But no, I look at it this way. Everybody I know, I treat you all the same way. Okay, yes, some people I get along with better than others. But it set me off the other day. Somebody accused me of number one being insincere, and number two being a troll because I asked a simple question. Well, in all fairness, I wasn't exactly diplomatic about it. What do we got here? Yeah, and that can be disconcerting. Yeah, my brother actually pulled a really neat stunt because he used to get stared at a lot, but he got a little carried away with it. We were a lot younger. He'd be in his mid-teens at the time, and somebody was staring at us at a bus stop at a rest stop up in the mountains. My brother walked over, looks at the guy, and looks at the driver, and goes, "Why don't you take a picture, sir? It'll last a little longer." Yeah, no, Philip, definitely not. Professional dip, possibly. Low mat, no. No, the thing is, I've never been really known. I've never been known to be one for biting my tongue. You know, unfortunately, and this is why I caution people. Absolutely, if you've got a question, ask. Now, there are things that I believe in that, quite honestly, I'm much more likely to answer on somebody else's stream, or certainly in a face-to-face sit down with somebody. I just don't feel like getting into a whole lot of trouble on the air because I said something that people didn't like. Because the Lord knows there's a lot going on in my head that people wouldn't like. Okay, let us open up book 12 again. Where is it? That's book 9. Not exactly what I require. Hmm. Looking back at the settlement, looking back at the group. Hmm. What is that? Oh, okay. Not the same person. Okay, that didn't help. Yeah, yeah, we've had some interesting conversations there, Nathan, where some of the conversations can go right sideways. But since I ended up with my hand being slapped at one day, you know, just for making a comment about the lockdown. You know, and I know, I had a very short conversation with somebody. They accused me of being of hating natives. And I looked at thinking because what I'd done was told him I was too busy to drive him someplace that was like 2 blocks away. Couldn't have been much more than that. The area I live in just isn't that big. No, I found it easier to take the cookie jar and turn it upside down on the table, of course. But no, I take a look at the thing with Thanksgiving is this: find something you're content with. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you're happy that your health is good. This is a great thing. Maybe you're happy that somebody else that you know that their health is taking a turn for the better. Okay, again, not a bad setup at all. But it really boils down to deciding whether or not you're actually going to work. You're going to work on making your world, and you know, by side effect. Oh, I don't know. In all fairness, now get this. Now I'm 60 on a cane. Okay, and this guy was in his early 20s. He was North American Indian, certainly. Okay, he was sitting there right beside his bicycle. Okay, and the area, like where I live, Rutland is not that big. It might be 5 miles across, maybe. And I'm probably way over on that. Okay, because I really don't know the distance. What I do know is if my leg was good, it was short enough you could walk it easy. And when he asked for a ride, I looked at him. I said, "Look, I got a meeting in the restaurant here. I don't have time for it." Oh, okay, Philip. Kelowna is where I am, but Rutland is essentially a suburb of Kelowna at this point. Okay, it's just kind of like if you look at Vancouver and you have New Westminster, Surrey, Abbotsford. Over in New York, you've got Manhattan, you've got Queens. These are essentially sections of the same part of the same city. It's funny, I've actually talked to people and ended up talking to them for an extended period because paranormal came up as a topic. Now, what do I got here? We have, oh, um, tomorrow. We didn't get to it today because, quite frankly, I didn't even prep for anything today. The Thanksgiving weekend came and completely scrambled things. So we are looking at, did that already, didn't have that worked out. So what we do here is we move on to, that was Friday Paranormal. That'd be the 20th. I desire to get to that a little earlier. So on Tuesday, we're gonna turn around and we're going to look at your imagination and just how quick that can change the way your world is going. Emmy Tonga, how you doing? Glad you could join us. If I seem a little scattered today, it's only because I am. You know, I mean, I look at this. We've been on for an hour already now, and I'm still planning on running until around about 6:30. You know, one of the thing I keep looking up here for is this is my other monitor. What I do not recall is why. Yeah, I wonder if we take a look at this. I know why I can't find it. Let us go back to book 10. Can't find it in the compendium because I never put it there yet. Football, it goes in 1985, I was waiting for a bus to take me home. It was summer in Texas, 100 degrees, noon. I was a teenager and this guy stopped to offer me a ride. I said, no, not safe. Not a bad call there. You know, back in 85 was not necessarily one of the better times. By the time 1985 rolled around, I'd already been graduated for a while. And even up here, it wasn't the safest place in the world. Hmm. And again, that still doesn't help. Well, I won't argue that there, Philip. Of course, yeah, like we had a German Shepherd throwback where I was growing up. I kid you not. Okay, this little fur bag was a good 3 feet at the shoulder. Okay. Fortunately, it was a rather gentle animal until it took and got a liking for deer meat. But no, see, way back, you used to be able to put your thumb out, and somebody would pull over, pick you up, take you where you belonged on the whole. Okay, now we have been taught to distrust everybody. Okay, and this is just not working well. Wonder if I got that wrong. Okay, delete that. And then do this. Why, pray tell, is that not working? Um, yeah, Joe, am I planning on going? I'm planning on still being here at 6:30. I will end up taking a break at some point. Like I just ended up starting almost an hour ahead of time, but that's because I got into the office and went, I'm not exactly going anywhere. Well, thank you so much for that, Transito. I do appreciate it. And I don't think I've got it, but I am really glad to know you're out of thing. Do I have it over here? Somewhere around here in this mess that I've got called an office. I've been actually tracking where people are from. Okay. I've always got I've always liked Spain. I learned a little bit of Spanish. Let's face it. I was in grade 9, so I've been out I graduated in 81. So we're talking 45 years ago, and I haven't spoken Spanish to speak of since. It was kind of funny. There was a chap here from Brazil, and I realized they speak Portuguese. But he was up here and trapped up here. I went to say something to him, and he goes, "I no speak English." I looked at him, I went, "Oh, yo no hablo español." Well, I'll tell you, the guy nearly fell on the ground. I guess it was a real stress breaker for him. Yeah, I heard you mentioning that. Yeah, I remember that being mentioned yesterday that you got locked out. Yeah, I do like food. I don't have much in the way of a set of taste buds to work with, but I've always liked foreign food. I just don't like really, really spicy food. And from what I understand, as far as Italian cooking goes, it's not hot. It's very flavorful, or for that matter, Spanish cooking. What I never understood that Transito is why, and I realize it's a tradition over there, at least what we've been shown. I've been chased down by a bull. I cannot see voluntarily getting into the street with a whole herd of the things. To me, trying to outrun a bull, I've done that once and successfully. But boy, did it mess me up. I've tried, like, I do my best to try new foods. Some of them just don't sit well with me. The biggest problem I have with any of the foreign stuff is honestly, I don't travel a whole lot. Something about getting lost really easy. Now, why did that come up that way? Oh, there we are. Bonus. We used to have a place up here called the Golden Panda, you know, and I'll tell you, the food in it was absolutely, well, let's just call it appalling. I wonder. Yeah, I'm still looking for that neat little I'm still looking for this one pair of names, and I will be hanged if I can find the thing. Okay, don't need that one. Well, yeah, and that unfortunately is quite a normal. Oh, Darth Millock, you asked would I pick up a hitchhiker today if I saw them thumbing for a ride? In all fairness, it would really depend on what I was picking up off the person. Because for me, I actually feel what the person is like. In most cases, yeah, quite honestly, I would. And I have done so. I've had a lot of people when I come out, when I'm in a parking lot that will ask me for a ride. Which is essentially the same idea. They're just not on the high on the road at the time. You know, but yeah, in all fairness, I don't have a problem with it. I will talk to, as much as I'm reclusive and stay away from people on the whole, I will talk to just about anybody. Okay. And the only difference when I'm talking to somebody that doesn't speak English well, is I talk slower. I don't raise my voice to make it louder. They're not having trouble hearing it, they're having trouble translating it. You know, so I mean, I look at it and go, yeah, if I can help somebody, I absolutely will. That's just the way I am. And I really don't differentiate between who people are. Let's see if we go, what would we call that? Mm, Okay. I am still looking for exactly what I was talking about earlier. And honestly, it really hasn't improved any. The fact I cannot seem to find this one little detail is just driving me right up the wall. What was that? Nope. I have no idea. Oh, absolutely. Phil's just going, gestures can help communicate, like children playing together who don't speak the same language. It's funny, You take a look at the kids, at the little guys, 3 to 5 years old. There is no prejudice. There is virtually no fear. They treat each other as equals. It's not until they start getting older that they get taught how to be prejudiced, how to be greedy. This is something that we've got to reverse the training on. You know, yeah. Sorry, mine went a really bad place. Gestures can help. They absolutely can. But there are some gestures you really don't desire to do to somebody if you're trying to make friends. You know, I mean, I'm looking at this like I haven't been banned from a chat room. I've been chastised about it, but I haven't been banned from one. Primarily because I, on the whole, don't say a whole lot. Absolutely, Transito. Thank you so much for dropping in. I really do appreciate it. And we are going to add you to the list, or more to the point, add Spain to the list of the different countries that have been in this chat room. But thank you so much for dropping in. And this is why, that issue there, Philip, is actually one of the reasons why I've decided to start opening doors. I see I'm actually in the process, and I will end up posting it a little later tonight. I'm in the process of writing a number of articles regarding the hospitality industry. I will be tangling with other industries as well, because to me, they're common sense miscalculations, and people are just forgetting what we've got to start doing. Now, wonder. Okay, I caught a few. Hmm. Where we are. I don't blame you there. I ran into one over on MK Ultra. It was on MK Ultra that I got called, that I got told that I was insincere, and literally got asked if I was a troll. Right. And I did write the owner of this thing. I haven't heard back from them yet, I don't think. Now, who, pray tell, is this? Oh, okay. Don't know if I will, but what the heck. It's funny, I sat down here looking for something, and I have yet to be able to find it anywhere. What happens when we scroll all the way down to around 300? I cannot for the life of me find. I've got two wolves that I'm looking for the name of, and I cannot remember what the name is, nor where the heck they are. I know what book they're in. Let us see here. Yeah, well, that's just it. Oh, I wonder if I can find it in a hurry. I'll show you exactly where the problem was. Let's see if I can find it. See if we go to here, show you exactly what the problem was. And I am not one to um okay. This is what was posted. Okay. This was the comment that got my attention. Now, I'm not going to beat it to death because frankly I just can't be bothered. But that's the part of that is the part of the post. The person was looking for, well, actually, maybe I should do that. Here we are. Here is the entire post that was put in. Okay. Right there. A bonus. That was the post that was put in. And this was my immediate response, which resulted in all kinds of complications. Okay. And this is, it's not like this is saying something that isn't there. This was literally in the chat, in the stream. Okay. Long and the short of it is they told me that I was, that I was insincere and asked if I was a troll. They couldn't see what the problem was. Now, let me see here. But that's what set me off the other day. But, from my standpoint, boils down to this. And I'm going to go back to the other side of this. Okay, and that is the fact that here I am sitting, here I am 60 years later, just about 60 years later, 55 at this point, after being diagnosed dead, okay, and being shipped off to the morgue. Here I am still talking to people. No, in all fairness, Darth Millock, I really never did get a chance to talk to Art. Heard a lot of really good things about him. Never found anybody say anything that would lead me to believe that he was anything but authentic. But I never did, I never did actually get a chance to talk to him. There's a lot of people I never got the chance to talk to. But this is why I tell people, am I willing to go on somebody's show? Certainly. Am I willing to lie to people to make you feel better? No. But I do recommend that whoever's handling the calls, Dave does a fabulous job of filtering which calls and which questions are not going to result in a good outcome. Somebody asked me one day, where are we here? Yeah, I take a look at the comments I've heard and the tales I've heard about Art Bell. very open and a very open-minded individual. From what I gather, didn't put up with a lot of drama, but had a heck of an open mind. I never honestly heard anything bad about him per se. I am absolutely certain that there are all kinds of things that are said about me as far as the way I am. But frankly, this is just the way I am. Yeah, I appreciate that, Darth. The reality is that, like I've told people, I'm quite willing to come on. I actually don't. The thing is, because I'm not social media adept, I don't get around a lot. So I rely on people like the people in this chat room to go, here's, here, we'll reach out and see what we can do. The reality is, I really don't have a lot of things I won't answer. And the ones I won't answer, I'll tell you why I'm not going to answer them. I mean, it was funny. There was a chap on here that was looking for a question that was on this stream that was looking for, they want an answer from me about something. They asked me a question. I said, until I get clearance, I'm not answering. And they got really offended by it, and I haven't seen them here since. Which, okay, people come, people go sort of thing. But when I look in the mirror and I can go, I'm actually able to breathe, which is really a weird thing to focus on, but what the heck? Oh, Philip goes, can you please help translate for us to do trade in North Africa? You do realize I am not an international diplomat. Heck, I'm not a diplomat at all. I will tell you though, if you're aiming at, it depends on what you're trying to trade in North Africa. Okay. Absolutely, Dutch football. Philip, whenever you're dealing, you got to remember, look, and the one thing that you've got to look at, and I haven't done the research, look at the culture of the people in North Africa. You've got to understand what drives them before you're going to be able to trade anything. That's the biggest thing you have to realize. I do have a question for you though, Philip. What are you trying to trade in North Africa? Okay, because from my understanding, the people in North Africa, aside from speaking different language, I speak bits and pieces of Northern Nigerian. Okay, of Hausa. Hausa is not trade language, or is not the business language for international. You'll be happy to know there, Philip. Okay, you'll be happy to know that the international trade language is generally acknowledged as English. So as long as you speak English, you should be good. That's where the real benefit comes in. Okay, but yeah, the nice part about it, depending on what you're trying to trade, find out the best thing for developing trade relations with anybody is find out what it is that they are seeking, not what you have to sell, but what they are looking for, and then tailor make your approach to them to that line. You know, but yeah, everything I've learned is that much as English is one of the bizarrest languages available, I swear we make it up as we go along. You know, things like I before E, except after C, and sometimes and once in a while K. You know, it's bizarre. Basically, learn each word. You know, but again, karmic law will help you immensely. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. You know, be true to yourself first, and energy out, energy in. This essentially will solve a lot of your problems. Yeah, Dave is a remarkable host. You know, it's funny. If you go back 8 years ago, from what I gathered, Dave took an awful lot of flack from a lot of the people because of the way I went, because of what I was working with, and against a staggering number of opposition. You know, a staggering amount of opposition. Here I am, 8 years later, still working with him. You know, and like I told him yesterday, I've got no real functional interest in stopping. I wonder why, pray tell. I am drawing a complete blank. Oh, the thing is, Philip, the way I was talking, I was talking 8 years ago, and the speed that I would answer questions without thinking about it, I'd get asked a question, and I'd go, "Here's the answer." Apparently, this was not a good thing. So and I'm only relaying, sort of, if you will, barely remembered secondhand information. Okay. But apparently Dave was being told that I was a complete fake, that there was no way anybody could have that much information. And Dave stood his ground, and well, like I said, here I am. You know, but it was just simply a question of people, like they still do today. They ask any question almost, and I will give you a straightforward answer. Sometimes it's not the one you're looking for, but it is the one you require. Okay. Since then, I've expanded my knowledge base a staggering amount. Okay. I still don't research. And people have asked me flat out, well, why don't you research? Well, because a lot of the information is regurgitated and misleading to top it all. You know, but I'm still working with the same setup. I still tell people, you know, you asked me a question about what was this event? Okay, problem. I don't watch the news. I don't know. Okay. Most of the time, I've gotten virtually no information. Yeah, I've noticed that in their football. I really do appreciate it. For me, it's like I tell people, I make every single person I meet happy. Some people by showing up, most of them by leaving. You know, well, I am glad to hear that, Darth. From my standpoint, I just simply go with what I feel or what I'm already aware of. And like I've told people, I don't necessarily know the names that other people know them by. Somewhere in my stack of paperwork, and like I said, I've got a stack that's probably that deep of information on different races, on different vehicles. Somewhere in there, I've got the name of the people that actually run the Tic Tac ships. Okay. I also have the actual name of the Nordic race, of the Nordics that come down here. But unfortunately, I'm pretty much as disorganized as I can get. Which, isn't a good thing, by the way. And yeah, absolutely football, absolutely football. I certainly agree that SOR is a safe space. You know, the reality is for anybody that's got a chat room, you've got to stay on top of it. I got a kick out of it about 6 months ago now, I guess. We had somebody come in and they noticed in this chat room, they noticed that everybody was cross chattering and talking amongst themselves. And some guy came in and he opened his mouth. He goes, "What a bunch of trolls." Well, almost everybody in the chat room before I had a chance to say anything jumped on him and he was gone. But it's this kind of mutual support that I find really, really, really heartwarming, as it were. Wish I had some idea. And I know there was a flashback that had it. Yes, I'm still stuck on the same question. Yeah, well, I do appreciate that, Emmy. I really do. You know, the sad part of it is I'm a firm believer that everybody should have a right to their own opinion. Absolutely. I actually lost a friendship over somebody telling me that my opinion was wrong. An opinion can't be wrong. The information you're drawing it from can certainly be wrong or misleading. But the opinion, you're stuck with it. There are questions that people do ask me, and I flat out will tell you, I'm not telling you. Right. And I remember having a conversation with a guy one day. I told him I wasn't going to answer him. He says, You're not answering because you don't know." I says, "No, I'm not answering because I'm not answering. I told you I'm not going to give you the information. It has to do with somebody else, and I'm not telling you." And the guy goes, "But I want to know." I says, "I care why." It was funny when I was working on the psychic line, a guy phoned me up and he goes, "My neighbor 3 doors down, where did he get the money for his boat?" I looked at the guy and says, "I'm not telling you." He goes, "Well, because you don't know." I says, "Frankly, it doesn't matter whether I know. You want to find out where he got the money. I will tell you, it didn't come out of your bank account." "Well, I'm paying you to tell me." I says, "You're not paying me enough." I said, "You're not getting the information from me. You want to find out where he got the money from. Knock on his door. I mean, you're like 3 houses away." The thing I won't do is I do not, betray people's confidence, except in a couple of situations. Broadly speaking, if somebody is breaking the law or intending on breaking the law, I will absolutely tell the authorities. There is no question there at all. You know, But am I going, even when I was with my ex, when we did get into a fight, I never used the information I sensed, against her. Yeah, and Christopher, I didn't see you come in, but you're absolutely right. In SOR, Dave does run a rather tight ship. And this is why I've had to apologize to him once. Because somebody asked me, and I mean, talk about catching everybody off guard. Somebody on the stream, you know, yeah, well, unfortunately, I mean, that unfortunately doesn't really work for me. I am dumber than a fence post when it comes to that. But no, I was on SOR, and somebody came out and said, "Look, why should we believe what you're telling me?" And Dave just read. He never thought about it. He read it, and I guess this would be 2-3 years back now. He read that out, and I addressed the guy by name. I says, you know, I said, "Excuse me, so and so, but what makes you think I care whether you believe me?" Well, Dave smoothed it over really quick, you know, but it really does boil down to this. I have no problem with being wrong. Okay. I have no problem with changing my approach to things if I am shown that something is wrong. And this is what happened with me in the Church of Satan. Okay. I had one set of beliefs that I felt I had in place. And he proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the information I was drawing my conclusions from was categorically wrong. So I immediately on air apologized to him, and for that matter, to the entire church. Okay, or anybody that was following that was in that church for having the wrong information. And since then, I've never gone back to my old belief structure because, frankly, it didn't make sense. I appreciate that, Susie B. Glad you could join us. I'm definitely on here a lot longer than normal. I actually got on here somewhere around about 20 to 4 today, just because it worked out that way. And I am still trying to find that one little piece of information. Hmm. I am trying to find the name of a. I'm literally what I'm looking for here is back in the birth of the wolf pack. There were a pair of wolves that showed up, and it was just a short little one-page deal. But I'm looking for what their names were. And I cannot for the life of me remember. That's why I keep looking up here for you, by the way, guys. Yeah, I tell you, Susie, the one thing I noticed with last night, the questions that were coming in were absolutely spot on. Some of them were really an interesting approach. You know, but the fact of the matter is on SOR, I literally rely on the people in the chat room, for the questions. It makes it so much easier for me to piece things together. What do we got here? Hmm. Looking for a pair of wolves that'll be hanged if I can figure out where. This is gonna bug me until I find it. You know, the thing is, and this is why I tell people before we ever get to that, and I really do encourage this with this stream as well. If you've got a question, write it down before you come on into the room, and then put the thing on, post it in all caps, partial caps, or at least a wavy hand, so I can spot the thing. Now, where are we? Just refreshing to see what's up. You know, the nice thing about it, like I look at this whole thing about Thanksgiving and I go, okay, we can look at it and go, we can go the traditional route and go, hey, how about if we all have turkey and talk about how things went sour? Okay, like there's a brilliant idea. I'm much happier with the idea of looking in the mirror and going, okay, this is what's going on. Now, for me, it's pretty cut and dry. A week ago, for the last month, I've been hovering around 197 to 199 in weight. Okay. Now, as of last week, and this I'm really happy about, I'm hovering between 191 and 193, which is what I'm aiming for. Well, what I'm aiming for is 180. But get this, the Canadian Health Authority figures at my size, I should be about 145 pounds. Now, you think about that and take a look at me the way I am. Okay. Can you picture me being healthy and 50 pounds lighter? Somehow I think there's going to be a problem here. Where, pray tell? I have absolutely no idea. Talking about getting sidetracked on something I wasn't planning on getting sidetracked on. Thank you so much, there, Susie B. I appreciate that. You know, I mean, I'm lucky. I bought all the Thanksgiving, all the food stuff, and took it over to the ex. She's the one that's going to be actually doing the cooking. Rest assured, that's actually a plus. Honestly, nobody wants me cooking for them. I mean, granted, the food I cook doesn't go walking. You know, it really doesn't. At least not that I've ever seen. There's been times when I've opened the kitchen sink in the kitchen fridge up and gone, okay, everybody out. But you know, that's one of these things that you look at. Many people in their late teens, early 20s, when you first move out on your own, will make that mistake. You know, like I'm looking at this and I'm starting to put together. I have made headway, by the way, on the book that I was planning on writing, that you guys asked me to write, an interactive book. I wonder. Grab this out. just because it annoys me that I can't find the thing. Hmm. I have no idea how I'm going to find it, which annoys me because there's a part that I need to add to it, which is not working well. But, I take a look at it this way. We have a world here that is absolutely phenomenal, but we got to stop finding ways to make each other feel like you're less important than the next person to you. And I know in this chat room that is not what happens. Okay. Same as it's not what happens in SOR, or for that matter, in Nathan's Quantum Show, in World Bigfoot, in Bigfoot Michigan Rob, or in Shadow and Sun, as well as in Studio 12 with Raven, or in I believe wonder what I did with it. I'm referring to Nikki's line. Cannot find what I'm looking for, so I best stop looking for it because it just ain't working. There we are. Restore belief with Nikki. Did you find what you were looking for, at least there, Philip? I know I really haven't. I'm hoping my other half can track it down, but I don't know if she can. But I am getting, I'm making headway on what I'm aiming for. As far as the writing goes. And yes, what we started on Friday with practical, real-time testing so you can get a handle on things, we are going to continue that in a number of venues. One of which, I'm actually going to put a post out today that I just finished writing on the hospitality industry, restaurants in particular, because so many people look at the workers and go, oh, this one's more important than that one. I'm here to tell you that is a massive miscalculation. Because there are so many things that people aren't looking at. One of the so I'm right now I've got 3 months, 3 articles month and back to back. I'm writing on the restaurant industry. Then I'm going to turn to the hotel industry. And there's a number of others that I will be looking at because, again, this boils down to looking at people, finding a way to find similarities. Okay, I am in the process and I'm absolutely open to suggestions. I am now actively looking at altering my wardrobe, bringing it up to pace while I'm pushing to get books sold and what have you. Not to mention the consulting side of what I do. Okay, it's just literally time to make it happen. But I have to look at the world and go, okay, I can sit back and you can sit back and go, I'm not doing anything. I don't like the way the world is, but I'm going to sit and wait it out and see if it can turn around. I waited 55 years. It didn't alter a lot, at least not in a good, not in a positive way. So I'm really strongly suggesting that we don't continue to wait. That's just the reality of things. What do we got here? The thing we have to look at. Let me ask you this, guys, because I still haven't finished this, so I might just as well. Okay, I'm gonna put it to you this way because I've got to leave the office for half a minute here. But I'm looking to book my next couple of weeks solid. Oh, yes, Amy Tonga, you did. Okay, and I don't know. If you go back, if you go back and listen to yesterday's show, okay, I did not only run the test, but I gave you the answer before the show was over. Okay, and I strongly recommend take it. Did you get detention? No, but hopefully when you go back and listen to it, and whatever you do, okay, the way I laid it out, because you weren't there. Well, I didn't do it because you weren't there. But as you weren't there, the way I laid it out is I brought an item up, a box, for you to take a look, for people to look at, and then reach out with your mind and sense what is in the box. Okay, now this goes on for about 20 minutes a section, for each of 3 items. Do not scan ahead. Listen to it and take your time with it and see how it works out for you. Hopefully that makes sense. I laid it out as simple as I could. So I absolutely am looking at that side. But yeah, that's why I said I was planning on running the test. I'm going to do another one next Friday. I'm going to do another test with real time, absolutely real time testing and quantifiable evidence that you will have in your own house, your own apartment, wherever you are. The only thing I recommend is do not be driving and concentrating on the road and trying to figure things out. This is a bad idea. Okay. Needless to say, you start focusing on the phone too much, and all of a sudden you got a knee problem. You're wrapped around somebody's bumper. Now I'm not certain that's a good way to have your life. But I am looking at this world going, okay, what do we do with it from here? What can we bring about? And that is what we've got to concentrate on. And I do really encourage you when you hear somebody complaining about somebody else, whether it's their orientation, and I got in trouble for this with somebody the other day, regarding the whole gender identification thing. Sorry, I know this upsets some people. Okay, but I'm pretty black and white. You got 3 genders, and one of them is a problem. You've got male, you've got female. Doesn't matter to me what people relate to. Okay, I look at the anatomical configuration. Sometimes you'll get the third, which is called an hermaphrodite. Those people, I absolutely understand why the parents would choose a gender and pray they got it right. Okay, but the rest of it doesn't add up. I mean, you think about it. If we take a look at that in the ultimate level, you're going to have a stadium. Well, if you go to, I had somebody in England send me a ticket stub that had 59 different genders on it. Now, can you picture what would happen in a stadium if you had to have 59 bathrooms? Okay. I mean, can you picture them as a nightmare? because everybody deserves their own bathroom. Ultimately, you could go down a really, really dangerous, a very dangerous rabbit hole. But I'm looking at I'm quite content with the fact that I'm still actually breathing. Okay, I actually got told by my other half that I wasn't allowed to die again. Not yet. Which I can work with that. I didn't really have a lot of interest in it anyway. I will tell you, the whole idea of having a heart attack, painful as all get out. Okay, very painful experience, but way easier to cope with and recover from than a stroke. So I'm looking at the way this world is and going, okay, I've got a great group of people in this chat room. Right now, we are sitting at. That's an excellent question. Okay, bring that over there for just a second. Why, pray tell? Oh, there it is. Yeah, subscribers fluctuate. We're sitting right now at 556. But the neat part about it, from my end, is the last couple of weeks. As you know, I run a 2-hour show normally. But the last couple of weeks, when it gave me the closing analyticals, the closing analytics, I'd only been on air for 2 hours, and we had over 24 hours, right, of listening time, which to my way of thinking is fantastic. Totally unthinkable a couple of years back. In all fairness, when I started, I really didn't know where things were going to go. Now, where, pray tell? Nope, don't want to do that. Nope, don't need that. Hmm. Odd. Very odd. But no, I'm looking at this now. It was probably not necessarily my brightest move to come on for 3 hours. Okay. But I was sitting in the office, did not get done what I was aiming for. It really didn't find what I was looking for. Philip, question for you. Did you actually find the thing you were looking for? Just because I'm nosy. I look at it this way. We can take the world, we can accept the world the way it is. I can relate to that all too well. We can accept the world the way it is right now, or we can set about making change to it. Okay. Now, I will tell you, when I get off this stream, I'm going to be taking a look at, if I recall correctly, I've got an account with Buy Me a Coffee. I'm going to see if I can figure out how that works. Okay. Because it's time to start pushing that. And I do have an article that I'm going to be posting right away as well. I did get I did actually. Oh, oddly, Philip, no. Now, I have been authorized to give you some information by my other half, and that's where the complication came. But I was actually introduced by my other half by her then current other half because they were having relationship problems. Okay. And he introduced me to her to try and help them smooth it out. That was where it started. So I gave them both some directions as to what was necessary. Now, understand, first and foremost, if somebody if I'm dealing with somebody and they're having relationship troubles, this is not an indicator that opens the door to me. Okay. And we will cover that in about 10 seconds, Philip, and put you on the right track. So, as best I can. So he introduced me to her. I gave them both some directions to work with. He did the exact stupidest thing that could have been done. Okay, well, maybe not. Okay, but he turned around and did something that there was no coming back from. And then he turned around and blamed me for it. Well, net result, I was dealing with all kinds of complications. To me, it was still an issue of I'm not going there. It's just not the doorway. And at some point, I could actually give you dates and times. Well, not times. I could actually give you dates. But she approached me and goes, and I'm paraphrasing. She goes, do you think the two of us could work out as a couple? And I looked at her and I went, something you got to get straight before I answer that. Okay. These are two things that are non-negotiable. And I am absolutely adamant. If you've got something in your perimeter, in your perspective that you're not willing to compromise on, put it on the table. Okay. I just looked at her and went, number one, you're in the States, I'm in Canada. I'm not moving. Period. That's the end of the debate. I says, and secondly, do understand, I have a 15-year-old at home with mild CP. If he never moves out, that's the way it is. Well, she took about 30 seconds and goes, I can work with it. We are now approaching, we just passed 21, 22. We've just entered our third year. Okay. I'm just thinking here. Broke up in no, that's wrong. We just entered our fourth year together. Okay. But I laid those two boundaries on the table in those two, make or breaks on the table the day she asked. Okay. That way, if she wasn't willing to work with it, there was no question as to what was going on. In your case, Philip, okay, dating apps, just understand something about dating apps. Okay, way back, we're talking back in the 70s, and we know this guy was a multimillionaire. Okay, because he took out a whole page ad in a national newspaper before the dating apps were out. And you can absolutely do this on your profile. Okay, what he did was across the top of the page, he goes, looking for a wife. Then down that whole page, he had 100 things that he was looking for. At the bottom, he wrote, if you don't match each and every one of these, don't call. Okay, he ended up married. I put 50 on mine. Okay, I'm not married yet, but that's because I refused to ask her until she gets across the border. She did ask me not to ask her the day again that she gets up here. Right. So I won't. After that, all bets are off. But I've been very black and white right from the get-go. I'm not looking for another short-term relationship. I'm looking for permanent. You know, and yes, I am still, in spite of being divorced, or maybe because of it, I don't know, I am still a firm believer that marriage is a viable option. Darn. Yeah, Darth, I agree with you. Yeah, just back up half a second. Yeah, yeah, it depends on the person. I absolutely agree. Whether we are, to me, I don't care if somebody wants to marry, if a woman wants to marry a woman, a guy wants to marry a guy. I don't care. Love is love is love. I'm not marrying a guy. Okay, not going to happen. You know, but, Darth, I'm looking at this and you've gone, Keith, I really hate the term UAP. The idea by some that the Tic Tac encounter is a first ever. It is not a first ever. Those, and somewhere in my information, I've got who that belongs to. Okay. I was thinking there was a race I was thinking of, and I'm going back through the information to find the thing because I've got to figure it out. Last night, I was asked on Dave's show who Pan was. Pan is an Udaki. Now, granted, he was a large Udaki with an ego the size of Manhattan, but Pan himself is an Udaki. Okay. Football. Football's just going, Philip, this life coach I listen to says dating apps are for desperate people. Now, I don't know who the guy is there, football. Okay. Here's the thing. I wonder if this same genius figured that going down, the going out dating people, going dating in groups was for desperate people way back when we were kids. Dating apps are an access point. They are no better, no worse than going and meeting somebody in person. Sooner or later, when you meet somebody on a dating app, sooner or later, you're going to have to turn around and meet that person. To say that a dating app is for desperate people is absolutely shallow-minded and short-sighted. In my opinion, absolutely short-sighted. Let's face it, in today's world, you really have to look at it and go, okay, people don't go out. We're so stuck on, video games, on computers. It is a natural evolution. I wonder if this genius figures that going down to the bar and getting absolutely blitzed to the point you're drooling over the guy next to you or the girl next to you and going home to wake up, if this is the better option. People that are that short-sighted, to me, show how low their IQ really is. It is extremely short, and I know that was insulting. And oh, you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. Probably. But really, if they're thinking that slowly, they may not recognize that they've been hurt. But you think about it. I got to take a look when I was using the dating apps. I got to take a look at several hundred people and compare. Let's see. Philip goes, Malcolm Gladwell won't look at the picture of anyone he's considering hiring. He explained it very well. I thought his advice for a business relationship could be helpful for a romantic. Absolutely, it can be. You got to remember, a romantic relationship and a business relationship are both relationships that require interaction. Now, granted, with a little bit of luck, the business relationship, depending on your industry, doesn't end up with you in bed with the prospective employee. There is one industry where that is different. I always look at the designer labels and go, yep, they've got a label. But let me ask you this, guys. Okay, now you've heard me talk a lot over the last 2 years. Okay, do I strike you as somebody that's overly fashion conscious? Or that's going to look at something and go, oh, look what other people are going to think. You know, I went looking for a car a while back and I asked the guy about a certain question about it, and he goes, oh, but you got to look at the real leather seats and look at the shape of the tires. I says, congratulations, you just blew the sale. Well, how did I do that? These are both absolutely, they're very important. I says, frankly, I'm way more interested in the drivetrain. And if the tires aren't brand new and round while you're trying to sell me a new car, there's something seriously wrong. You know, yeah, Philip goes, they have designer labels of goodwill. You know, I was in now, Kirby is a vacuum cleaner that has great renown for its resiliency. I went in and talked to a guy in the vacuum cleaner repair, vacuum cleaner repair place where he had a Kirby. And he goes, look, he says, you got to realize that yes, it has all this power. It's a great machine. But if you buy a brand new machine every year, okay, you're going to have that same kind of power every year. You know, from my standpoint, it's real simple. The moment you start telling people the choice when you're going through this accessible venue and you're wasting your time, okay, like the reality of it is how many people went down to the bar, got absolutely blitzed, and I will pick on Vegas in this case, went down to Vegas. You have a good one, Nightmare. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I really appreciate it. Yeah. See, the spirit attachments are fun, but the bed bugs absolutely can be an annoyance. Okay. Mind you, you can get a lot of things from anywhere, but here's the thing. Okay. When I start looking at people going, oh, you're going down this useless direction. You know, to turn around and, I mean, I used to look at people going to the bar and they come on with a different girl on their arm every week or a different guy. And how you doing? I came out well. Glad you could join us. I ended up on here a long time today. Now, I am going to take 30 seconds out. Where is it? I'm going to go grab a little bit of water here. I will be right back. Now I feel dense. Believe they call this Swift Lake Brick Smart Lake Fence Post. Forgot I made my coffee. Yeah, no doubt there, Philip. I've been told I just don't see hints. I don't notice when people are joking, or for that matter, when they're flirting. I just miss it altogether, which is great. I had no problem with it. My ex-wife asked me when I was on the road at one point. For 5 years, I was on the road 2 to 3 weekends out of the month for 7 months out of the year. And my wife asked me at the time. She goes, she says, did women ever flirt with you while you're on the road? I looked and I went, no. Well, maybe. And then my wife at the time, she goes, oh, that's right. I tried to get your attention every way I knew how for a year before you ever even noticed me. Right. I said, oh, oops. And I'm looking here and Farron, glad you could get back. Yeah, Farron goes, I got married in Vegas. Now, of course, the ultimate question there is, did you know your husband's name when you woke up in the morning? I'm thinking of the song that Carrie Underwood wrote, or at least sang. Yeah, if they consolation there, Philip. You know, if it's any consolation, I have exactly the same problem. I just don't notice it. And this is why there are times when people will ask me a question and I miss entirely what they're aiming for. This is why I tell people, for pity's sakes, be direct. One of the drawbacks that I found, Philip, and my other half has told me this. I've got such a wide vocabulary where I can take a word completely out of context and turn it upside down on them. I can on just about anybody. Okay. Sometimes I do it intentionally, sometimes to break the ice. Ferret, you have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And thanks again for dropping back in. There was a book written a while back there, Philip. It's actually not a bad read, called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, which really boils down to they process things a little differently. But I will tell you, they're looking for the same thing guys are. And I know a lot of women will go, oh, we're not looking for the same thing guys are looking for. After over 65,000 clients focusing on relationships, rest assured, when you boil it down and when you're honest with yourself, men and women are looking essentially for the same thing. They're looking to be treated with respect. They're looking to be treated as equals, as though they've got a brain in their head, and as though they have interests. Okay. I don't need that open. Why can we tell that open? I don't recall opening it. I don't know why I recall closing it, but you know, regardless of what walk of life people come from, okay, regardless of what your heritage, your lineage, your nationality, doesn't matter. Okay, people on the whole are looking to be acknowledged as respected individuals. Okay, as valued people. They do not like being bullied. None of them like being looked down upon or made fun of. Okay. Nobody that I know of enjoys being pranked. And that ultimately is what you have to look at. Okay. When we look at it, I used to have a real big problem with this whole idea of what's this racism thing? You're all human. Problem is, it wasn't a racial thing, it was a species thing. There are multiple races of humans, but you're all human and you're all compatible. This is obvious in as much as we have people that are, you know, half African, half Chinese, whatever. Okay. That's just the reality of it. And the moment we start focusing on the similarities, i.e., if you look at everybody, most people's hands, most people have four fingers and a thumb. Of course, most people, the fingers separate. Mine really don't that well. This hand does a little now, but until I had the stroke, it was just like this one. You know, which it's an oddity, but I'm still me. One of the things we really have to focus on, or I strongly recommend we focus on, is start looking at what makes people similar, not the same. Okay. We have a wonderful opportunity in our hands right now. It's a question of are we going to jump on it or not? What do I got here? Let us see. Okay, we take that, hit live. Take this, hit live. What do we got? Oh, yeah, that only, in all fairness, Christine, that cough. I mean, thank you so much for asking. But that cough actually only lasted 3 days. Right. And then I was back up and running properly, at least properly in my eyes. I still don't sleep much, but then I haven't in years. You know, but no, it's unless of course I try breathing coffee. I found out at Wings the other day. I was down there for lunch, and I ended up inhaling just a little piece of breading. Well, the waitress nearly I thought I was gonna up and die on her. So after everything calmed down, she looks at me and she goes, "Are you okay?" I says, "Oh yeah." I said, "I'm fine." I say, "It just turns out you cannot breathe chicken breading. It doesn't work well." Oh, honestly, Christine, I sleep well. Like, for instance, last night. Let's get that out of the way. Last night, I went to sleep. Where are we? I actually slept from 6:30 to 10:30 at night. So I got up at 10:30 at night. I went to bed. Yeah, I got up at 10:30. Went back to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. Slept until 2. Got up, was up until 4:30, and then went back to bed and slept until 6. Okay, I've been up ever since. You know, but on the whole, I get a decent amount of rest out of the deal. This is obvious by the fact I've been averaging since the beginning of January of this year. I've averaged between when you clock the time between midnight and midnight, I've averaged 5 hours of sleep a night. Okay, like in that 24-hour period. But I do it in in 2 or 3, if you will, short naps. What this means. That's terrible, Philip. That's just absolutely terrible. You know, I got in trouble because I can apparently sleep standing up. I fell asleep at the bus stop one day, standing up in the bus loop, complete with snoring the whole 9 yards. You know, boy, the girls I was traveling with, were they ever unhappy with me. But it's like I told my other half. If I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. And whether she wants me to stay awake or not is irrelevant. You know, because when I get tired, I'm going to sleep. But since I don't drive a lot, I don't tend to fall asleep behind the wheel. And no, I'm not narcoleptic. You know, I can be asleep before my head hits the pillow, but I'm not narcoleptic. You know, it's more an issue of I know how to get out of my own way. Yeah, I get a kick out of it. Like my other half is 100% blind, which works out well. I never have to worry about her looking at me and going, ugh. You know, but I get like she can maneuver quite easily, blind. I close my eyes, I lose my balance. I keep my eyes open, my balance isn't much better. You know, and I can get lost in a heartbeat, so that works out well. You know, but I'm looking and I actually sat down to try and find something, had absolutely no luck finding it at all, and I have no idea how I'm going to. So I'm hoping my other half can come up with an idea on that one. Hey, I wondered. Hmm, I don't believe it. Is that who I'm looking for? Not in there. Hey, let's see if we can find that. Whoop. Nope, just the name I forgot. Where do we go? Phelps goes, I told my grandpa he was snoring. He said he couldn't tell. Said he never woken up fast enough to catch himself snoring in his sleep. I know one person who used to wake himself up all the time snoring. He'd go to sleep and he would literally wake up with a start, looking around trying to find out who was snoring. It was priceless. What I usually end up doing that wakes me up is I'll end up with my lungs deciding, we're not going to work anymore. And then I end up, hacking up a lung trying to actually get them kickstarted. Today has been a very long run. I still never in the whole time I've been here, I keep looking for this one piece of information and have not managed it at all. So hopefully my other half will be able to find it. That's just terrible there, Derek. How you doing? Hope your day's been going well. Oh, by the way, Derek, I'm pretty certain you noticed, but I took the testimonial you had and tacked it onto the bottom of the ad I put up for Believe in Your Finances. I don't know if it's had any results yet because I haven't been into my email to really find out just yet. Oh no, I posted it on Facebook. Wait a minute. Your copy hasn't shown up yet? Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people. I'm starting to get into the other forums. Okay, absolutely, Derek. Let me know. I'm not exactly going anywhere tonight anyway. Where is my $1? Yeah, the whole thing, where it comes to the way this world is we've got a choice. We can leave it as is and continue letting other people determine what's going to happen, or we can start working on changing things ourselves. It's really your call. I'm not waiting anymore. Okay, this is why I'm looking for for the different options. Wonder if SHO is not in there. Of course not. But yeah, and there we are. We are coming down to the 6:30. So guys, again, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. This has been a really long run. Okay. But with that in mind, two major factors here. One, we take that, minimize it, we take this. He is coming, and this is Nathan's stream. Okay. This is Nathan's stream. Absolutely, like he comes on in half an hour. Drop in, give him a listen, and if you like what he has to say, absolutely give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Okay, and now what do we got here? Dave, Spaced Out Radio is coming on at 11 p.m. Pacific. Okay, and again, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Now, I'm going to bring this to a close, but I really want to say thank you guys so much for sharing your time with me today. I really appreciate it. It's been a very long run, but hey, what the heck? So, until we meet again, do take care of you. Do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.